Hey, it's Juliet and it's Video Challenge Day 10. Now, today I have something that's kind of related to yesterday. We talked about beliefs yesterday, and I have something that I want to kind of share with you. It's the idea of how our beliefs affect us on everyday life, just in very subtle ways that we might not think about. Now, apparently, I think it was in the 70s, some dude was awarded a Nobel Prize for proving that there is no objective reality. Now, what that means is that there isn't a reality that is fixed. What that science discovered, and kind of when we think about it, it seems logical, is reality isn't objective, it's subjective. So it's like this. Is I have my set of filters. They show up that I see through them in everything I do. So if I have some beliefs that say, I'm not worthy, I don't deserve, then the way I perceive life is going to be confirming that through my filters. And of course, unfortunately, as humans, we don't just have one set of filters. We have myriad, we have probably hundreds and probably maybe even thousands, because every experience we've had has taught us something about ourselves. So from a very practical point of view, it's kind of like me looking at a situation and saying, well, it's this, this and this, because I have yellow glasses. I look at it and say, well, no, it's yellow. But because you have red glasses and you have your set of experiences, you experience exactly the same situation, but you say, no, it's red. And, you know, multiply that by the 7 billion, whatever it is, people on the planet. We each have our own experience of reality. And it is entirely dependent on our own personal filters, how we perceive that. So, for instance, if we believe that money doesn't grow on trees, if that's a real core belief that is running as a sub-program in our minds constantly, in our whole being, then we're constantly going to be experiencing that struggle with money. If we believe that men or women are untrustworthy, then guess what? We're going to constantly be meeting and experiencing life from that place of untrustworthiness, because that's our filter, that's our perception. Now, it's all well and good recognizing that, but then, well, okay, smarty pants, what do you do about it then? So we all have these filters, and we're all constantly uncovering them. So yesterday we talked about the idea of journaling to uncover the beliefs, and we said start from looking at the area of life that's not working very well for you. So that's always a good advice. That works, because we don't necessarily know where we're going to find our filters. You know, they're not obvious to us. When I walk around with my sunglasses on, it's obvious, we can see those. But these filters I'm talking about are subtle and hidden and running in that subconscious mind all the time. So another great way of being able to take off the filters, being able to say, oh, okay, now I can see that I was wearing filters. Another great way of doing that is through contemplation. Not quite the same as meditation. So meditation is really going into a stillness. Contemplation is allowing the thoughts, is letting them kind of meander through your mind. Not so much like the chatter voice, not so much like that critical voice of dee-dee-dee-dee-dee that's always giving you a hard time in your head, but more just like a place of curiosity. One of the things that I teach is, with everything that happens, being in that place of curiosity and approaching it with, oh, that's interesting. So what if, when stuff comes up for you, when you feel confronted and conflicted, what if you approached it from a place of, oh, that's interesting? Rather than leaping into the filter mind, into the judgments, into the criticisms, into the opinions, which are nearly always judgmental and critical, rather than going into that place, take the approach of, oh, that's interesting. And from there, you can start to inquire, and this is where this contemplation comes in the quiet moments, just sitting and breathing and connecting and allowing that interested contemplation to unfold. So that's interesting. What is the story I'm making up there? What does this mean about how I perceive life? Where might there be a filter, a belief that is impacting my experience of this situation? It's a practice. We've talked about the 3 Ps. It is a practice. It's not necessarily something that comes easily initially. And I know in my own life, when I started to learn about these things, I had a lot of resistance, because I was in a place, I truly was, I was in an absolute place of arrogance, of thinking that I had life sussed, I had it all sorted out. what I didn't realize at that point in my life was actually I was living from a place of disconnection. I had this mantra. It was all about protecting myself. It was up drawbridge, down portcullis. And if you're familiar with old English European castles, you will know the experience of the drawbridge that comes up, that across the moat, that protects you. And then there's this big iron gate called a portcullis that comes down. And so that was my mantra. That was what was keeping me protected from connecting to anybody. And ultimately, it was that idea of keeping me protected from being hurt, from being abandoned, from being rejected in any way, shape or form. But of course, that ancient quote, eventually our armor becomes our prison. And what I didn't realize at the time was I was completely imprisoned by this stone wall that I'd built around my heart. And it didn't allow me to connect. And it kept me completely in my head as being always really super reasonable, figuring things out logically, but it didn't allow me to connect. Fortunately, day by day, I continue to work on that, to release the pieces. But what I know for myself now is that stone wall has crumbled, and now there are a few pebbles, and they crop up from time to time. And I know that that's possible for you too. No matter where you are in your life at the moment, no matter what your experiences have been, no matter how tough and hard and sometimes challenging life has been, I know it's possible to let go of these limiting beliefs, to uncover them and change our filters, to take off our sets of glasses slowly and steadily. We don't have to do it all at once. This is not a miracle pill that's going to fix all of your challenges, but it's a daily practice. And so my daily practice is this video challenge at the moment, as well as my meditation and my prayer practice. So I invite you to look at the filters that may be affecting how you perceive your experience, because it will be influencing every part of your experience. And tomorrow we're going to dive into, following on from this, I'm kind of on a roll with this now, we're going to look at the 4 Agreements, which is a book by Don Miguel Ruiz. You can Google it if you're not familiar with it, but there are 4 agreements, hence the name of the book. And we're going to talk about those because they really help with this whole business, with your filters, with your beliefs, with allowing you to perceive things and live from a different place. So just for today, practice taking off your filters, taking that moment to be interested. Oh, that's interesting. And approach your life from that place, and you'll find that there is so much more for you to know and learn about yourself and about life in general. I send you all my love. I bless you. I invite you to expect a spectacular day. The sun is shining where I am today, and I'm feeling very blessed. I'll see you tomorrow.